Today, 2.5. Again, the only section we are doing this week. We're going to keep reviewing and reviewing for the quiz on Thursday. Today is called literal equations. It shouldn't be, but we'll see. When we say literal equations, that means, like literature, like many other things, literally, right? It means all letters. Yep, sure do. So when I say literal, it means that you have equations that are going to have you solve for a set variable. You may have 2 variables in the equation, you might have 3, you might have 4, you might have 5 different variables. And you need to solve for a set 1, okay? So, for example, we're actually going to put the steps down to remind you what they are to begin with. So step number 1, if there's parentheses anywhere, please distribute. Step number 2, if there's any fraction anywhere, you're going to clear the fraction and to clear the fraction, we multiply by the common denominator. All right, step 3, combine like terms. On each side. Step number 4. Now, this word is going to be a little bit different, just a little bit. Step number 4, move the desired variable to the left. Here, I'll change that to wanted. What do you think? The wanted variable to the left. That's fine. Both are the same. Number 5, move all unwanted terms to the right. Exactly. That works for me. And step number 6, divide to solve. All right. So we're going to start off with some easy ones, okay? And then we'll get into ones that are all variables and the one that we want to get to, okay? So here is example number 1. And this is going to cover your 12 through 18 as you're referring back to it. It says solve the equation for y. Then plug in values. Okay, so it's going to look like this. You're going to have an equation that maybe looks like, let's go 4x plus 2y equals 3. And that's going to have a little semicolon, and it's going to ask you to plug in 1, 2, and 3. So the first thing we have to do is solve this equation for y. We need to get this variable right here all by itself. Okay, so if we go through our steps, step 1 is distribute. Well, we don't have any parentheses. Step 2, clear the fraction. We don't have any fractions. Step 3, combine like terms. Well, do we have anything to combine together? Step 4 is to move your desired or wanted variable to the left. Well, it is on the left already, right? Step 5 is to move the unwanted terms to the right. So I have to move this 4x to the other side. So on this side, I still have 2y. Can I combine these together? No, they are not like terms, so I have to write them down separate. Negative 4x plus 3. Okay? Now, is the y by itself yet? Nope. What's our last step? We divide to solve. So we get y equals. You can leave it as negative 4x plus 3 all over 2, or we can split it up. Which way do you guys want to do it? We can split it up and say we have negative 4x over 2 plus 3 over 2, and then simplify this one, or we can leave it like that. What do you guys want to do? Leave it? All right, let's leave it. Okay, so we're going to leave it, a little less work that way, right? Now that we have y by itself, we're going to plug in 1 for x, 2 for x, and 3 for x. So we have y equals negative 4 times 1 plus 3 divided by 2. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Plus 3 is negative 1. Divided by 2 is negative 1/2. Now we're going to plug in 2. What? Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Plus 3, negative 1. Divided by 2. Okay, we're going to do it again. Y equals, this time we're going to plug in 2. Negative 4 times 2 plus 3, all divided by 2. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8 plus 3, negative 5. Good. Divided by 2. And the last one, we've got to plug in 3. Y equals negative 4 times 3 plus 3 divided by 2. So negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Plus 3 is negative 9 divided by 2. All right, so you should have 4 things for your answer. You have this one for your first answer, and then you're going to have 3 values you plug in. So then you have to these 3 after that. That's for your first 4 problems. For the first 4 problems, that's what you have to do. Do we have any questions on that? Okay. So then let's get into the actual literal ones that are a little bit tougher. Okay? So here we go with example number 2. This is your 20 through 26. And I'm going to ask you to solve. Whoops, helps if I spell right. Solve for x. That means we need to get the x by itself. That's the wanted variable. Hello? No, I didn't. I tested. Oh, yeah, I was testing. Yes, yeah. I'll take pay. That's fine. Thank you. Bye. Okay, so let's do the first one. Let's say I have x plus wy equals c. So in this one, I want the x by itself. So I got to get rid of wy. What is the only thing I have to do to get x by itself? Subtract wy. Minus wy. Minus wy. Yep, on this side, that crosses out, so I just have x equals. Now, are those like terms? Nope. So we just write them down. C minus wy. All right. Sample number 3. That's all it is. That's your answer. That was it. All right. What if we had, again, we're going to solve for x. Let's say I have 4 x plus 3w equals k. All right, so this time I still need to get the x by itself. First thing, we got to subtract the 3w to the other side. So I have 4x. The 3w's cancel out, equals k minus 3w. Now what do we have to do to get x all by itself? Divide, and divide by 4. And just like in the first example, we can leave it just like that. So I have x equals k minus 3w divided by 4. All right, now we got to talk about a special step that's going to come up in some of our problems. I put a little star here. This is a special step. This is called undistribute. Okay, we undistribute when the variable is in more than one term. So let's say we get to a point where we have xy plus xw on one side. We have x's in two different terms, and in order to get them by itself, we have to undistribute. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this x and put it in front of a parenthesis. I'm going to take that x out of this one and take the x out of this one. So then we're stuck with y plus w left over. And I close my parenthesis. So you'll notice that if I were to multiply this back in, x times y gives me xy, and x times w gives me xw. Okay? Is there any questions on this? Go ahead. Well, that's going to be our step. And then if it's equal to whatever, we're going to divide last and divide this over so x is by itself. Okay? Let me show you what I mean. All right. So here's example number 4. Again, I want you to solve for x. Keep an open mind. Let's say I have ax minus x equals c. All right, there's no parentheses. There's no fractions. Can I combine like terms? Is ax and x the same? No. Okay. Is my desired variable on the left? Is there anything that doesn't have an x in it that I need to move to the right? No. So now we have to add in a special step. We have to take that x out of both those terms and put it in front of a parenthesis. Okay, so I'm going to take the x out of this one and the x out of this one. Now, here's my tricky question. When I take an x out of this one, what is going to be left behind? Oh, 1. Very good. There's a 1 sitting right there, right? So I'm going to put x in front of the parenthesis. If I take it out of here, I get a minus, if I take it out of here, I get 1 equals c. Now our very last step to get x by itself is to divide. X is being multiplied by this parenthesis of a minus 1, so I'm going to divide by a minus 1. Whatever I do to this side, I have to do to this side. So my final answer will be x equals c divided by a minus 1. Okay? We're going to practice this a lot. Don't worry. Let's go to example number 5. All right, so I'm going to add in a little bit more. Does that sound like fun? Yes, it does. Solve for x. You guys are going to be fine. Let's say I have 4 times x minus b equals x. All right, so our first step is to distribute if there's parentheses, right? So we have 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative b is negative 4b equals x. All right, can I combine any like terms? Nope. All right, I need to move my desired x to this side. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides. On this side, what do I have? 0, good. Over here I have 4x minus x, I get 3x minus 4b. Now I move the term that I don't want to the other side. So how do I move this minus 4b over there? Add 4b. So I have 3x, these cancel out, equals 4b. I agree with you, Keegan. And then what do we do next? Divide. We just got to divide by 3. We get x equals 4b over 3. Yep. Let's try example number 6. Maybe. I only got a few more to do. Y equals x minus v divided by b. All right, so this time we have a fraction, don't we? So we have to clear the fraction, which means we multiply by the common denominator of b. So we're going to multiply this side by b. Remember this, I'm going to multiply this side by b. This side is by. On this side, my b's cancel, and I have x minus v. All right, now I need to move my desired term to the left. Which one of those do I need to move to the left? The x. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides. Can I combine those together? So negative x plus by equals negative v. Okay? Now I got to move the term that doesn't have an x in it to the other side. Well, I got to move by. So I got to subtract by from both sides. I have negative x equals negative v minus by. Is x by itself yet? Yes. We need to divide by a negative 1. So on this side, we get a positive x. When we divide by a negative 1, we're going to get a positive v and a positive by. Yeah, because it's negative, there's that magical 1 that's always hanging out right here. Okay? It's invisible, yeah. All right. 2 examples and I'm done. 2 more. All right, example 7. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Again, solve for x. Let's say I have AB plus XY equals CD minus XW. Okay. This one's not as bad as you think it is. First of all, there's no parentheses, there's no fraction, there's no combining like terms, right? So we need to move the desired term with an x in it to the left. So I'm going to add xw from both sides. Because we need to get all of our x's on the left, right? So I have ab plus xy plus xw equals cd. Now I have to move the unwanted, undesirable term to the other side, the term that doesn't have an x in it. Good. So subtract AB. Subtract AB. So I have xy plus xw equals negative AB plus CD. And I don't care what order you write those in. I just always put alphabetically A comes first. Excuse me. All right, now we're back to that special step. We have an x in two terms. So what do we have to do? Yeah, we have to undistribute. So we're going to take this x out of both of these, put it in front of the parenthesis. We're left with y plus w equals negative ab plus cd. And what is always our very last step? Divide. So we're going to divide by y plus w. Divide by y plus w. We get x equals negative ab plus cd all over y plus w. Again, were any of those steps tough? Were any of those steps outside of what we do all the time? Some people actually find it easier because you don't have to worry about adding things together. Or, yeah. All right, here's the last one. Example 8. Example 8. You guys are going to be fine. This is 28 through 32. A triangle has a height of 6 feet and an area of 48 feet squared. Find the base. All right. So in order to do this, you have to know what is the formula for the area of a triangle. Very good. Thank you, Ben. Area equals 1/2 base times height. All right, so let's plug in the information we have. This tells us we have a height of 6 feet. So what do you think 6 goes in for? H. Okay? It has an area of 48 feet. Where do you think 48 goes? The A. Very good. All right. So I have 48 equals 1/2 B times 6. Now I can multiply these together on that side. What is 1/2 of 6? 3. So I still have 3B. What's the last thing I have to do to solve? Divide by 3. I get B equals 16. Oh, that's so bad, right? Yeah. So real quick to make sure you guys remember, what is the formula for the area of a circle? Yes, there we go. Yes. Pi r squared. How about the circumference? Two pi r. All right. You may need those on your homework. Well, that's there too.